Three.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Club Vibes over here at Blockcast. With you guys as always, myself, Vibin, got my brother with me, Mr. Scott Tripp, aka Big One Tripp. As you guys know, we like to take a little controversial, more topics on this side over here at Blockcast. And today, like no other day, we're going to pick another controversial topic. It's been a lot of speculation with what's going on with Terra Labs and Do Kwon and what happened to all this money. And a lot of people, in the beginning said, oh, they were using it for buybacks to try to save the UST stable. And that didn't seem, in the beginning, everybody accepted that. And now it seems like as on-chain data is starting to be released, we're starting to find out that it could be possibly other things. But before we jump into it, we're going to let my brother introduce himself, and then we're going to go right back into it.
Hey guys, as always, Big One Tripp, happy to be here, part of Big One, but also work for Blockcast. Here's where I get to do a little bit more of my controversial videos or questioning different things. So I love this space and it's great to be back. So yeah.
Yeah, man. But yeah, we're going to jump right into it. I mean, there's been a lot of people calling out some of the on-chain data saying that, Do Kwon siphoned out anywhere between 300 million, I heard, and some of the top allegations that I heard was 2.7 billion. So that we know that some money got missing in there. And I just want to jump into a little bit of it because I remember talking with Scott, and Scott was like, man, I feel like a lot of people are forgetting about Luna. And it was like, I don't think so, man. Like, we're going to jump into it and make sure these people haven't forgot. So before we could even really get into it deep, when I started clicking on some things about Luna, a lot of stuff started popping up. I just want to bring a little bit to the light today. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. Hopefully this thing works today. So cool. So we see here, Do Kwon dismisses allegation of cashing out 2.7 billion from Luna UST. And then this was really what I wanted to get into is this thread here was some of you thought 80 million per month was bad. That's nothing. Here's Do Kwon's cashed out 2.7 billion, 33 times at $80 million over the span of mere months, thanks to DGen Box, the perfect mechanism to drain liquidity out of Luna UST and into the hard money like USDT. So it was kind of funny that, they say that all of this had taken place, and Do Kwon came back and said, this is preposterous, right? Like, he's like, two contradictory claims seems to exist where, those wallets are doxed and he still owns most of the Luna. Do dumped his tokens. And he said to reiterate, he felt like he lost a lot of his money in this sum up right here. He lost a lot of his money within everything that was going on. And he pretty much wanted to address it like that. But as he did that, it was a lot more allegations that came out. And I know Scott's got some more on-chain data, so I'm going to let him go ahead and jump on, and then we'll jump back over and I'll come back to some of the things that I found, some other things.
Yeah, for sure. So here's the article I have. Do Kwon sent 80 million a month to secret wallets. Breaking Terra employees reportedly confirmed to the SEC that Do Kwon cashed out 80 million a month prior to Luna and UST crash. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission recently conducted a remote video survey of some of Terra's key designers and focused on inquiring about Terra's poor design structure. Never stated that JTPC had previously reported and predicted the fall and collapse of the Terra ecosystem, but highlighted they were ignored. So this is a big thing, like, and the last article, I guess, was a little bit different than this. I don't know why this one popped up, but in the same sense, they tracked a bunch of wallets and it was about voting rights and stuff for actual Terra, and the idea that Do Kwon owned over 20 million voting rights to the actual forking of the contract. And if you heard people talking about when the fork was going on, they didn't agree with it. They didn't want it to be a fork. And these 20 million votes all of a sudden showed up, and it really pissed off a lot of people. So in the end, to find out that that potentially could have been Do Kwon too, as well as really catastrophic in the end for him and for potentially the project itself. So
yeah, it definitely killed the trust. I mean, and I wanted to show you guys a little bit more what I found here. And we'll jump right onto it over here. And again, this was all set up through Do Kwon being able to set up another company and pretty much siphon the money out of there. So the Abracadabra UST leverage farm is a very convenient way for Terra Labs to liquidate hundreds of millions of UST without hurting the peg a lot. And they have a direct incentive to keep that one going for as long as possible. How do they do it? Happy you asked. Back in September, they created the project Dawn. We won't really go into it, but 3 million of the releasing 3 million Luna for a month on the Genesis wallets, which I believe is maxed out so far. And then they ended up needing 300 million to cover costs. Why they needed $300 million to cover costs for a month, nobody knows, but they were able to get the wallet addresses, and they went ahead and opened up, and they're seeing here every time Danielle opens the abracadabra leverage farm by another 100 million, what happens is that the users selling those newly minted MEM for more UST, which imbalances MEM UST pool. So they've also been taking some money out of the MEM token as well, which was another token that they set up within that ecosystem. They kind of like to try to get in more liquidity for some of the other things that they were losing on the back end. But a lot of this came out, Scott, and it was said that a lot of it, like today, it was something that recently launched. I couldn't read it. It was a Korean news article from South Korea, and it was saying that they were investigating even deeper into this and had discovered, because of the tax evasion situation, right? And that's what it's boiling down to. They were able to see some of Do Kwon stuff in South Korea, but yeah, I think it was and it was the National Tax Service that got into it. I can't really, like I said, I could only read like the words that was in English, but I was just like trying to go through it. I have it pulled up here, but I don't think it would do any good just bringing it up while it's in another language. But we'll definitely get it translated, and then once we do, we'll bring up another topic about it. But definitely something that guys, when we think about this, one of the things I like to bring up is that even though this Do Kwon was a mischievous character and a bad actor in the space, one thing that we got to always recognize is that the words are in the smart contract. These smart contracts and these protocols come out with white papers, and they tell us in the tokenomics how the tokens are going to be allocated throughout the seed round. And I think a lot of times we take that for granted, right? And we see something nice and green and shiny, and we want to pick it up and run with it. But it's not always what it seems. Not everything that glimmers is gold, as our parents used to say. So, and the essence of that is that when you see these big unlocks coming up on some tokens, and you see these founders or these venture capitalists or these seed rounds, and they have more than 20% allocation or 10% allocation, we know that's a red flag. And what Scott was saying earlier, where they found the on-chain data, where he had put out the voting rights the first time to fork Luna, and it was complete no by the community. Then he went ahead and used his wallet rights in him holding the 200 million tokens and created another vote, and it went ahead and had 61% yes right off or I think it was like 89% yes right off the launch of the vote. So definitely something to pay attention to, guys. I mean, we always talk about we want regulation, but regulation starts with self. We always got to look within, find out as much about a project as we can, and don't rush into anything.
No, I 100% agree. And I mean, there's something to be learned by this. I think, like, and it's not the first time me and you have talked about it, Vibin, these degen cash out places like blenders and different things. I think in some ways these are going to be the places that are going to be heavily regulated in the near future. I have a feeling that there's going to be a push towards it, or the cancellation of, if there's a way for even governments to do it. But I do have a feeling like these places are only used for bad when they're cashing out different things. And I know this isn't really a tornado cash situation, but in the same sense, it's like he's taking money and putting it somewhere so nobody knows where it is, right? So
well, he put it on the exchanges, and it all went to USDT and all USDC. So it's kind of funny that he cashed out his own tokens for these other stable coins that he said was centralized. But I guess that's the easiest way to get it back into a bank and get it off into the Cayman, to some of these Cayman Island accounts, or some of the accounts that he may have set up. So, but I won't want to speculate too much. None of this is proven. Everything is accusations until it's proven in court of law. Yes, so we'll just say for right now, it's definitely a unraveling story, and we're starting to see a lot of the algorithmic stable coins being targeted. Justin Tron's token 4 days straight now hasn't been able to get back to the DPEG, and then also we've been seeing a lot of slippage. I mean, we still seen the Celsius shut down their protocol and didn't allow any withdrawals, and it's been 3 days and they haven't unlocked that yet. So definitely be careful with these algorithmic stable coins, guys. Anything that smells too good is probably some shit. Just be wary of that.
Yeah, no doubt. And always watch out for yourself first and foremost. That's what it's about. And never invest any more than you can lose. Because
never invest any more than you can gain.
Yeah, then you can gain. Like, just put in.
If you don't gain nothing, don't be mad.
Yeah, well, and if you lose, it's it's a temporary loss. You know what I mean? Like it's not
Yeah.
that you're not putting your whole life savings into some project that you're going to regret in the end. Like a lot of people did when Terra failed. So yeah.
Yeah, and they try to rely on the stable coins. So be careful, guys, with your algorithmic stable coins. Be careful with all stable coins right now. I think until regulation comes out about the dollar itself and who is the issue of the dollar, which is the government. I think they kind of have a final say what happens with the dollar and who can peg to it. So I would just be cautious with anything right now. And this stable related fiat might be safe while the market conditions are the way they are. But that's all the time we have for today. Scott, you got anything in closing for the people?
No, I'm good. And we'll see you next time. And maybe here in the near future, we're going to have more of an update. It could be on Tron, could be on Quad. Who knows in the end? Let's see what happens with these tokens.
You never know.
Stable coins.
These algo stables. So guys, make sure you're following Blockcast over on Twitter as well as on Telegram. The links will be posted down below. Other than that, guys, till next time, peace out.
Peace. Have a great day.